this is something you're willing to work on, and I know that this is not exactly like always the most intuitive or fun thing to talk about in therapy. Am I right to be hearing you as saying you're willing to take a few minutes now and work on this?
I'm just glad you're not mad at me.
I'm not mad at you whatsoever. No, not at all. I mean, again, this is actually a really useful thing, a good thing in a way, because we can work on it directly.
Cool.
Rather than talk about it, we can try to work on this directly. So let's problem solve a little bit. Let's figure this out. But let me ask you this before we jump in at problem solving. Let's say that we are successful at problem solving this problem of you getting out of the house and getting here to therapy. Let's say we figure this out in the next few minutes. We come up with a few solutions. You go and you implement them. And in a week or two, it's easier for you to get out. If we are successful with that, what do you think how might that change things in your life beyond just getting here on time?
With a lot of things. I could do so many more things if I could just get myself out of the house. I would have so much more mental space. I can think about it a lot. I wouldn't disappoint people all the time. Maybe I could keep a job.
So you'd be able to keep your job.
My kids might be proud of me. I don't know.
You might change the way you feel about yourself as a parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might change the way that you feel about yourself as a friend.
Right. I mean, this is a basic thing, getting out of the house, and I can't even do that.
Yeah, I'd like to point out you can do that. You are here, and we are not in your house.
That's true.
And yet, I totally get it that it's really hard for you to get here. So you can, it's just that it's really, really hard for you to get out of your house and to get moving.
Right.
And that's why you're on disability. Because you've been so depressed it's too hard for you to get to work.
Right.
And you have told me before you really do want to go back to work.
I do. I really do.
And you've got values. We've talked about your values before, and you've told me that it's really important to you to be able to feel confident and present as a parent and as a friend. Which makes sense. And so getting out of the house makes it harder for you to feel confident as a friend or a parent, because you're not sort of out doing things.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so those are the values that can drive you. Those are your values. Okay, so let's keep those in mind. Those are, it's kind of like, let's keep what the values are that can drive you towards success here. Let's keep them in mind as we think about this. Okay, you with me? Okay. I know this is hard. I'm doing this with you, and we're gonna succeed. We're gonna do this together.
Okay.
So now what we should do is really work hard together, as we've done before, to try to figure out what the specific problems were this morning, so we can try to troubleshoot and come up with some solutions. We know that sleep and drinking last night was part of it. But what else? You got up, and our session is, it's here at 10 o'clock this morning. What time did you wake up?
8.
Oh, okay. So, what is it that you think got in the way of you being able to get out of the house to get here? Because it takes you about 15 minutes to get here.
15 minutes.
5 minutes to park and to sort of check in at the front and so on. So you needed to leave by what time?
Like 9:30.
So what got in the way of you leaving the house by 9:30?
When I woke up, I knew I had therapy today, and I just thought, I drank last night, I shouldn't have done that. We'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with drinking. I don't want to deal with anything. And I just didn't want to.
So not wanting to deal with it.
No.
So the main thought there is, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
And it is coming in here and talking about all of the things that are upsetting to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. Makes a lot of sense. Why would you want to deal with it? Dealing with it is painful, isn't it?
I don't see any way out.
And you don't see any way out, so you're feeling hopeless.
Yeah.
And your thoughts about wanting to not deal with it, those thoughts of hopelessness and I don't want to deal with it, what emotions are associated with those thoughts? This morning, what emotions did you feel?
It's just depressed and
Right.
really afraid.
Right. So when you have those thoughts and that feeling of hopelessness, it's kind of like maybe it puts the brakes on and keeps you from moving forward. Or maybe it's like it adds another lock on the door and you don't have a key to get out. So you have to take more time to find that key to get out of the house. In other words, it just makes it harder for you to get out and get going.
Yeah.
Like your feet are moving through quicksand.
I just wanted to go back to sleep and wake up again.
Yeah. And so coming here is sort of like not as easy as just opening up the door and leaving.
Right.
You got to get through quicksand. You got to find another key to another door. You got very, very, very real barriers in the form of thoughts and emotions.
Right.
And those thoughts and emotions make total sense. Not because it is hopeless, right? But because you've got this long history of it being really, really difficult, and because you're feeling depressed. And when our brains feel depressed, our brains have those thoughts. Okay, so it all makes perfect sense. We've established that. What is it that you would like to be able to do differently to be able to get yourself out of the house, to get here?
Just leave. I spend all that time in bed worrying about how to get out of it and how to maybe call in and say that I'm sick or just not do it. And then
Okay.
and
So
then
you're
it
in your
just-
head,
yeah.
worrying. So there you are. If I have a mental picture, I'm seeing, there you are, Sarabeth, and you're lying there and you're in bed and you're kind of just swirling with rumination, worrying and worrying and worrying.
Yeah.
And the clock is ticking, tick, 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 and what you're doing is just worrying.
I'm not even seeing it. I saw it at like 9, at 10.
Yeah, you're not seeing
I was
the clock.
supposed to be here.
Well, how can you see it when you're just, your mind is just swirling and swirling and
Yeah.
swirling, and the time passes when that happens.
It happens a lot too.
Yeah. So what do you think might be the antidote for that?
Not doing that.
Right, well, let's think about some of the things that we've been working on, some of the CBT skills you've used. What are some of the things you might be able to pull that you've used before that you could pull in to get you to get up and get out of bed?
I mean, if I would think about it, I could just focus on my body a little bit.
If you could think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, what could you think about?
Just doing that instead. I'm not planning to do that. It just happens to me.
Okay, so your one idea is that if you could think about getting up and getting out of bed.
Doing right, focusing on my body.
Focusing on your body.
If I could remember that.
Okay, so how would that help you? That's a great idea. I'd love to hear your thoughts though. Tell me how that would help you.
That's worked before in here, and I'm so stuck in my bed that I lose track of what's going on. If I can focus on something in my body, it makes it easier to stop.
Yes.
But I never really.
That's a great observation. You're exactly right. We've done that in here a couple of times.
Yeah, it's been helpful.
It's been helpful in here. What has changed in here when we've practiced that skill of getting out of your head and into your body in order to be able to ruminate less and get more sort of focus? What has happened for you?
I just notice how much in my head I am, and then I can stop myself. I just can see it a little easier.
Okay, and then so as you see things are a little bit easier, what does that do? Does that help you change anything of what I would see you doing? Like what anybody might see out of you?
I probably just don't sit there and think. I just go do some stuff.
Right. Exactly. So that's one potential solution. Is there you are, you're in the bed, you're ruminating, and for you to use that as an opportunity to practice what we've talked about as mindfulness. Remember that skill, that's the term we've used to talk about mindfulness of your body as a way to turn away from all of that rumination and instead get really centered with your body. And that's helped you. So that's one solution. Yeah. Okay. So that's one thing that we could talk some more about, how to make that work. How might that work, and what might get in the way of that working?
I just don't remember to do it.
Okay. So maybe the trick for us is to figure out how to get you to remember.
And this morning, doing it might have been too hard to do.
That's true. Sometimes it might be really hard. That's a very good point. So the idea here is, in what we're doing, is to try to come up with as many solutions as possible to help you get up and get out and live your life. In this case, it's to get to therapy, but really, we could think about this same skill of using mindfulness to get in touch with your body in order to get out of the bed, to get to work, to get to go see your daughter, to get to go see your friends,
Right.
to get into the world and to really live your life.
Right.
You see how it's the very same skill that we've begun to work on that can help you get here is the same skill that can help you get what you want in your life outside of here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing we need to do is to really just kind of dig in again together, and we need to collaboratively figure out how we can get you to remember, to get up and get out of there. Because you're right, it's really, really hard to do that.
Mm-hmm. I guess if I had a reminder somehow, like a sticky note on my lamp.
Okay, so one idea is a sticky note on your lamp. What's a good idea?
I don't know what else.
Okay, so sticky notes could help. Is the lamp the perfect place for a sticky note if you're lying in bed?
I would see it right next to my bed.
You tend to look at the lamp when you're lying in bed?
I guess if I would put like a really big sticky, it would draw my attention.
Maybe, yeah. Like how big of a sticky note would you need?
A pretty big one.
Pretty big one. See, I'm imagining, and I have no idea, this is totally your solution, but what I'm imagining is that if you're lying in bed, you're actually looking up, you're not looking to the side.
I am looking up.
You are looking up. So I'm wondering if we need to put something on your ceiling.
Oh.
Because that's what's up, right?
Right.
I mean, I have no idea. I, of course, have no idea what will work. I'm just thinking, I don't know, what do you think? A sticky note's a great idea, we have to make this idea work.
I could put something on my ceiling. I would see that for sure.
You would see that, that would stand out.
That would definitely.
People don't
stand
tend to
out.
have things on ceilings.
No.
You'd stand it. Have you ever had anything on your ceiling?
No, I
No,
haven't.
I've never had that either. So you would see it. So let's say you had an 8.5 by 11 page on your ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
What would it need to say?
Get out of your head.
Get out of your head. Get out of your head. Okay. So if it said get out of your head, would that be sufficient to get you to use mindfulness of your body?
I might get angry. That's all.
Oh, is that a good thing? Would that motivate you? No, you would get angry at yourself.
Maybe more like to focus on your hands or your feet.
Okay, okay, so focus on your hands, so maybe more specific.
Yeah.
Focus on your hands or feet. Okay. Do you think that would help you?
Yeah, I think I would do it if I saw it.
Okay, okay. Good. The other idea I'm having, and I know we're running short of time, so just thinking about some other ideas, and we can come back to this.
Mhm.
We really just want to try various different things and see what works for you.
Mhm.
Well, what if we put on the ceiling something that made you be aware of the things that are important to you, that you could have if you got up and got out of bed? In other words, not just get going,
Mhm.
use this skill, but what if there was something that reminded you of why it's in your interest and why you care and why it's important to you?
Like if you get out of bed, it won't be that bad and you'll be happy with yourself later.
Do you think that would work?
I would have been very happy if I made it out of bed.
You would have been.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Felt less guilty.
Yes, you would have felt less guilty.